Hey, do you want to help me with something? Hey, go get your .22 rifle and some shells. Alright, you got it all loaded up? Alright, magazine's out of the gun. Alright, let's walk back to the shooting range. Alright, go ahead and put your magazine in. Can you shoot the target? Now I want to save those shells, I need to use them for something. Last one. Alright, let's find some .22 shells in the ground because that's what I need. There's some right there. Alright, we're back in the garage with our .22 long rifle shells. And you're probably thinking, what the heck do guns and RC cars have in common? Well, they're both fun, they're both expensive. Other than that, that's about all they have in common as far as I know. But what I'm going to do is use these .22 long rifle shells to make adapters to make some Tamiya rims and some RC10 rims work on this Ultima. So basically I'm going to take these shells, we're going to trim them down, we're going to put slots in them, and we're going to use them as inserts in the bearings so that they'll fit on the shafts on the Ultima. So here is my Kyosho Turbo Ultima. And I've got a Tamiya front tire on there, and you can see how much play is in there. On the other side, I've got a Team Associated rim on there, and it has not quite as much play, but still quite a bit of play. Yeah, they work on there. You could run them up and down the road with it on there, but they're not going to perform very well. There's just too much slop in there. So my solution, instead of buying a whole bunch of different adapter axles for these cars, was to take this .22 long rifle shell, cut it down with a slot in it, and make an adapter that would slide inside of the bearing and would fit over the axle. And that brass shim is going to take up that space. And what I found for these rims that I have was for the Associated rim, it takes one spacer. For the Tamiya rim, it takes two. And when I do that, these rims fit on there perfectly. So let's go ahead and get started on making these, and I'll show you how I did it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your .22 long rifle shell and you're going to go ahead and put it in a vise. So take your Dremel tool with a cutting disc on it and cut a slot down that .22 long rifle shell. Alright, I got my slot cut in there. The distance from there to there is about 3.7, somewhere in there, so that's about the width you're going to want to cut that. Okay, I'm going to take it over to the car now, and I'm going to put it up to the axle, and I'm going to mark to this point right here on this shell. And I have a mark, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to mark it, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut that off with the Dremel. Alright, you probably can't see it, but there is a mark on there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that flush with that. Alright, I got it cut. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the axle and just size it up. Looks pretty good. I'm going to take a file and just file that sharp corner off of that just to make it the right width for that axle. If I close that up, you can see that there's just a little bit of gap in there. That's what you want. You know, you might play around with it a little bit. Maybe you want less. This seems to work well for me. So I'm just filing the edge of that shell flush, taking any burrs off of that. But this actually looks pretty good. Okay, next I've got my round file. This is a file I use to sharpen chainsaws with. I'm going to go ahead and put that casing around that, get off any burrs on the inside of that, and then on the top, and just run that up and down that file just to smooth that out on the inside. So I got it filed down with the round file. That's about what we're looking for right there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fit that back to the axle and see how it looks. So that looks pretty good. So we can go ahead and put that in the rim and see how it fits on there. Okay, once you got that in there, go ahead and put that on the car. We'll get our nut put on there. Okay, I got the wheel on there and works pretty good. A little bit of slop in there, but not enough to really affect it. So much better than what it was, and I think it's makes it to where this is perfectly acceptable to run on the car. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Tamiya on the other side and actually put 2 inserts in there, and we'll see how that one works. Okay, I got 1 insert in the Tamiya bearing. Going to go ahead and put the second one in there. And what you want to do is line those slots up. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, but there's a slot there. You want to line that slot up with the slot that's in this other shim. Okay, so I got those in there, and I got the tire on the axle. These shims are a lot tighter than the associated rims. The associated rims, they go right in there and they fit on there perfect. These, you can see the shim sticking out there a little bit on the bearing, but when I put that nut on it, it's going to push that in there, and I think it's going to work just fine. Okay, I got that axle nut on there, push that shim right in there, so no problem there at all. There is no slop, working really well. Alright, I got enough shims made here for a couple spare. I think I'm going to go ahead and make a few more. Got some more shells here, so I'm just going to make a few more just in case, but I think it's a success. I think it's a pretty good hack. Let me know what you think in the comments below, if you think this is the stupidest thing you've ever seen in the world, or if it's something that you think you might want to use for your car. So I appreciate you watching. Hit the like button if you like this, and please subscribe.